doing? All okay with you?
Yes, very fine.
Great. So, Pramila, you were talking about the fact that you wanted to do a daily routine in a creative fashion. That's what you wanted to do, right?
Yes, yes.
Great. Awesome. So, let's dive into it. Why don't you give me a head start and tell me what your routine is? So, how would you explain your routine to someone you're meeting for the very first time? Let's say that that's me.
Basically, not basically. Actually, my my mornings are very busy, so I am always rushing and completing my errands, morning errands. So if I honestly speak, so I'm always totally rushing, and I hit snooze one or too many times. And by the time I roll out of the bed, I am already running behind, and
Okay.
I barely had time to like though I complete my kitchen, like I had to my kitchen and prepare breakfast and pack my lunch and my kids also, but I barely get that time to think about what to wear, and means if I have not prepared a night before, so I barely get time to throw something on me and grab my bag. And
Okay.
though I didn't mean to skip my breakfast, but somehow I grab a fruit or sometimes a glass or tumbler with coffee or some milkshake that I can carry with me and drink while I'm on the way. So at school also, like I am always the last person to reach my workplace. and and like I have that, like somehow I keep my things, keep my bag, and take the registers and diaries, and I straight away rush to my class. Or if morning assembly is going, I go and stand there. So these
Okay.
are originally my mornings are always like this, not
Okay.
peaceful morning.
Not peaceful mornings. And before we go any further, okay, is that it? Sorry, you want to say something else after that?
No, 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 no.
Okay, so you were specifically talking about your mornings. You did not speak about the rest of the day. We'll come to that in a second. But so what time do you usually wake up? So you said you hit the snooze button a couple of times. That's fine. But what time do you
Uh,
set your alarm?
4, 4:15, 4:10,
Oh, okay.
4:20,
Okay, fine. So you start your
4:30.
technically at 4 in the morning. Okay, got it. And then so by the time you wake up, it's probably a couple of minutes later. No problem. Then what time do you have to leave the house, or what time do you forget having to leave the house? What time do you leave the house?
6,
Oh, you have to leave the house at 6? My God.
6 or
Okay.
latest by 6:10.
6:10. Okay, fine. So you and the children and yourself, all of you travel together, or the kids go separately?
No, the kids have more time in the morning, so they go separately 1 hour later than my
Oh, I
schedule.
see. Okay. But why is that, may I ask?
We are not in the same school. I'm
Oh,
I need to
why?
commute to Delhi, and
Okay,
they
okay.
are
I was
here.
under the impression that your children, I don't know why I thought that, but I thought your kids were in the same school as you. Okay, got it.
No.
Okay. Fine. So you have to commute to Delhi. So how long does it take for you to commute to your school?
If I means I'm using metro to commute, so it takes around 50 minutes, and plus 5 means 1 hour base.
1 hour. Okay. And if you drive,
Yes. If I drive, it can take 30 minutes,
that's
35.
it. Okay. Yeah. Because the metro has all these stops in between. That's the reason,
Stop
perhaps.
also, but they have that specific time schedule. If I miss a metro, like, and it happens many times with me. If I miss a metro by 5 seconds or 10 seconds, the next metro is after 15 minutes or 12 minutes.
Oh dear. Ah, that's the
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, got it. I thought the metro would be a lot more relaxing for you because you don't have to have the hassle of sitting in traffic.
Yes,
But
because
yeah,
I don't love to travel. Like, I don't love to drive every day.
I
But to
understand.
save my time, I use my car.
You have no choice. And what time are you back home?
Mm, by 2 o'clock.
2 in the afternoon, you're back. Okay, got it.
Hmm.
And what time is your morning assembly?
7.
7 in the morning. Okay, fine. Got it. So now it completely makes sense. Very nice. Okay. You remind me of me. The snooze button. And being the last person to get somewhere. Oh, God, yeah. So let's start off with the fact that, okay, so before we go any further into the routine, let me just give you an overall view of the way you spoke. You spoke well, as always. Just a few, maybe one or two grammatical errors that I noticed were you constantly use, you can open up the chat box, Pravila. You constantly use the word rushing a couple of times in the initial part of your conversation. You
Okay.
used it in the initial part of your conversation a couple of times, you kept using the word rushing. So that was one thing.
Hmm.
The second thing that I
Mhm.
wanted to talk about is you spoke about you used the wrong tense when you were talking about skipping your breakfast. So the sentence that you
Oh.
said was, "I didn't mean to skip my breakfast."
Hmm.
This is what you said. So I didn't mean to skip my breakfast is like you having a conversation with me and talking about an event that happened in the past. So I
Hmm.
didn't mean
Hmm.
to skip breakfast means you're talking about something that happened in the past. You are talking about
Hmm.
a daily routine, which in which case you should stick to the simple present. The simple present is what we use in order to talk about our routines.
But
So,
if I am telling you it later, then
well, that you are talking about one particular day. If you were speaking about one particular day when you didn't mean to skip my breakfast, I didn't mean to skip my breakfast yesterday, but it just happened because I was already
hmm.
running late. So you are talking
Hmm.
about a single day. Here we are talking about an everyday thing. It's an ongoing
Hmm.
thing. In that case,
Okay.
what you can say is, I don't mean to skip my breakfast, is what you could have
Okay.
said. We'll continue the rest of
Okay.
it as we go to the routine itself because there was some language that I'd like to introduce here. But I
Okay.
don't mean to skip my breakfast. It's don't that you should have used here instead
Okay.
of didn't.
Oh.
That
Okay. Okay.
that the rest of the conversation, for the most part, your tenses were decent. Your accent is brilliant. So I really don't have a problem with it. But we are looking at a creative way of saying this. Let's assume that you're speaking to a stranger and the stranger says, "Describe your mornings to me, Pramila." This is the question, right? So describe your mornings to me and then Pramila. That's your question. So describe your mornings to me. The answer would be the word or the appropriate word to describe a typical morning in my life would be chaotic.
Chaotic. Yes.
Yeah. So we
Yes.
always, whenever you start a conversation, establish, like I've told you in the past, a headline. So then
Headline.
your audience is already hooked. So this is the hook point here that we're looking at. So you've got the audience hooked. It's like, oh wow,
Hmm.
chaos, exciting is coming up. So let's find out what's happening. So you're
Hmm.
starting off by saying that the appropriate word to describe a typical morning spelling is wrong. In my life would be chaotic. Or the
Hmm.
best way, you don't have to go into appropriate, making it too formal. You can just simply make it casual by saying the best way to describe a typical morning in my life or a typical day in my life, the
Hmm.
best way to describe a typical morning in my life would be chaotic.
Hmm. Hmm.
If I were to sum up a typical morning in my life in one word, in one word, it would be chaotic.
Chaotic.
That's it.
Okay.
So I've given you three headlines. You can go with either one of them. My
Okay.
personal
Fine.
favorite is the third one. So we're just going to go ahead with that one. If I were to sum up a typical, so sum up is a phrasal verb. You already know the meaning
Hmm.
of the phrasal verb, so we're not going to go into that. But if I were to sum up a typical morning spelling wrong again in my life in one word, it would be. Please note the tense we are using here, Pramila. It would
Yes.
be. It
Yes.
in the future. So it would be chaotic. And then what you can say is, I set my alarm at the crack of dawn. Listen to the sentence
Hmm.
carefully. I set my alarm at the crack of dawn, 4 a.m. to be precise, but end up hitting the snooze button more than necessary. End up hitting the snooze button more than necessary. In the process, delaying my routine or delaying my schedule by at
Oh.
least,
Oh. Oh.
I'm just
Where,
typing it.
where? Okay.
What happened? You were going to
I
say something to
thought
me?
you had. No, I thought I miss. Okay, now I got the in
It's
chat.
one whole sentence, which is why I was taking the thing. So let's start off with this. Let's it's one whole sentence. So let's break it down. I set my alarm. You always set your alarm. So that's a standard formula in the English language. No change. You set your
Mm-hmm.
alarm. Alarm spelling is wrong. At the crack
Mm-hmm.
of dawn. Now, please note this particular expression. At the crack of dawn is an idiomatic phrase.
Yes,
So
yes,
at the crack of dawn, I think you already know this as well. So it's just when when the sun is just beginning to take a peek through the clouds. So
yes, yes.
I set my alarm at the crack of dawn, and then I'm putting a comma there because I want you to stop talking for 1 second. So the comma indicates that you're supposed to pause for a second, and then you are saying 4 a.m. to be precise. Okay, so just to indicate that dawn usually starts at 4 in the morning, so you just want to be a little more specific. You don't necessarily have to mention the time, but if you want more information to be passed on to your audience, depending on the kind of audience you're dealing with, you can add in this
Okay.
extra. It will be great.
Mm.
So I set my alarm at the crack of dawn, 4 a.m. to be precise, but end up, again, you're introducing another phrasal verb here, which you already are aware of, end up hitting the snooze button.
Yes.
End up hitting the snooze button more than necessary.
Okay.
So I'm not saying that I'm hitting the snooze button 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 10 times. I'm just saying that I
Mm-hmm.
hit the snooze button unnecessary amount of times, an innumerable number of times. In the process, now in the process is a connector. In the process, delaying my schedule by at least 30 minutes. Now, 30 minutes is probably a stretch. A stretch means an exaggeration. I think you are already aware of this, but still, a stretch means an exaggeration. But so clearly, we are looking at it. So it's probably not 30 minutes. You're probably delayed by just 10 or 20 minutes, probably.
Yes,
I
yes,
guess.
yes.
But you can replace that at your will. Okay.
Uh,
Then
excuse me. Can you repeat the sentence with the stretch?
okay,
Uh,
30 minutes is probably a stretch.
okay. I'm
I,
calling 30 minutes a stretch, at stretch or a stretch.
30 minutes is probably a stretch. The actual expression, again, this is an idiomatic expression. A stretch means an exaggeration. So you can
Okay.
replace, and I believe that a stretch is used in the American English,
Hmm.
I believe. So you can
Mm-hmm.
replace stretch with an exaggeration. So 30 minutes is probably an exaggeration is also correct. Both of these are
Mm-hmm.
clear so far. Are we okay? So
Yes.
yeah. So then the next thing that you said is, now a couple of times, Pramila, and this is what I mentioned to you in the beginning, you kept on using the word rushing, rushing, rushing throughout, and this becomes a repetition. Repetition, I've already told you, is boring. So the next thing is, so the last thing is, the last sentence that we said was in the process delaying my schedule by at least 30 minutes. I end up paying for my sins. And I'm trying to inject a little bit of humor here. If you feel that the humor is over the top, we can remove it. But what I say is, I end up paying for my sins, okay, by skipping breakfast and wearing the first thing that I pull out of my wardrobe. Just typing it out for you, so bear with me. Okay. There are spelling mistakes, so we'll correct them along the way. I end up, again, end up is a phrasal verb, paying for my sins. To pay for one's sins is again an idiom. So pay for one's sins means I have no choice because I made a mistake of hitting the snooze button, so I'm already late. So I end up paying for my sins by skipping breakfast and wearing the first thing that I pull out, again, pull out phrasal verb of my wardrobe. Spelling is wrong. You can replace the word wardrobe with closet. Wardrobe is
Okay.
used in British English and closet is used in American English. Your choice. So the first thing I pull out of my wardrobe or closet. Now,
And
another way of
wearing the one thing I get or one
the first thing. Look at the
first.
sentence. Wearing the first thing that I pull out of my wardrobe. That is, whatever I see in the wardrobe, I just pull it out and I just wear it. It's probably mismatched. It's probably disoriented. But that's I don't have a choice. I don't have the luxury of sitting and choosing the right outfit, unfortunately, because I'm already late. That's what we're trying to
Hmm.
say. Now, this is
Mm-hmm.
one way of summarizing what happens to you after you wake up late. However,
Mm-hmm.
in this way, what we're doing is we are introducing an idiom, we are introducing a phrasal verb. Everything is introduced here in this one sentence, and we've also injected a dose of humor. So we've brought in a sense of
Mm-hmm.
humor into the conversation. Because you're paying for your sins. It's not like as if you murdered someone, but this is equivalent to that at this point, is what we're trying to say. Now, if you want to go into a little more detail creatively, we'll start off with the last, not the last, the second last sentence that we finished. That is, delaying my schedule by at least 30 minutes. From then on, it's a it's a hurricane in progress.
It's a
Hurricane. Hurricane. What is the meaning of a hurricane? You
hurricane.
already asked.
Okay. Yes, yes. Hurricane means some
Very
sort of
strong wind.
storm. Yes.
Yes,
Whirlpool
a
or
very
storm.
strong wind
Whirlpool
that just
is
goes.
in water. Yes, hurricane. Yes.
Yes. Hurricane. The cyclone is in water. Correct. Cyclone is
Cyclone.
in water. Hurricane is on land.
Hurricane is on land. Whirlpool is in water. And cyclone is also on land.
Cyclone is also on land. So
Yes,
what about
yes.
the tsunami? The tsunami was caused by a cyclone, wasn't that? Like what?
Whirlpool. Whirlpool. We use whirlpool.
The whirlpool effect. Okay, got it. Okay, fine.
Mhm.
I stand corrected then. So from then on, it's a hurricane in progress. Okay. So from then on, it's a hurricane in progress. And then what you
But
can say,
excuse
yes,
me, what does that means? Like if I break it down, so the simplest meaning that I can make out in this sentence is it is a hurricane in progress.
chaos, because now you have to rush through everything. So you're literally, I'm comparing you to a hurricane at this point by saying that you're running from this place to that place, trying to organize food, trying to organize your clothing, in the process, trying to get a shower. You're trying to get all of those things done. But
Okay, I
in
am
a
expressing my action as with this phrase.
hurricane, exactly, with a hurricane
Okay.
in progress. From then on, it's a hurricane in progress. This is an alternate way of explaining what happens after you wake up. Either you can go with the previous sentence that I said, wherein I end up paying for my sins, that particular sentence you can go. I'm giving you an alternate way of saying the sentence by saying that from then on, it's a hurricane in progress. And then you are going to explain why you are comparing yourself or why you are calling yourself a hurricane in progress. Okay. So what you can say is, from packing my children's and my lunches to choosing the right outfit, I manage I manage to work like a magician, or or what you can say is, I have no choice but to pull all stops. I have no choice. Just trying to think of the right expression here. I have no choice but to pull all the stops. Or I have no choice but I'll give you a better one. I have no choice but to bend over backwards to make sure that I leave on time. So, from packing my children's and my lunches to choosing the right outfit, I have no choice but to bend over backwards. Bend over backwards, yet another idiom, which means to work extremely hard. To
Mhm.
work extremely hard. So I have no choice but to bend over backwards to make sure that I leave on time. Okay? Then what you can say is, despite all this, I still manage to be the last one. I still manage to be the last one to reach school. Despite all this, I still manage to be the last one to reach school.
Okay.
Despite all this, I still manage to be the last one to reach school. This one is going to be a short sentence. Then we are going to elaborate it a little more. Okay? After
Oh,
getting, what happened?
I was trying to take a screenshot of the sentence.
Okay, did you manage to get it?
Yeah, got it, got it.
So
Hmm.
after getting my registers, I attend the assembly and proceed to face the day.
And proceed to face the okay date.
After getting my registers, I attend the assembly and proceed to face the day. So we have reached the end of this particular morning routine. Now, when we talk about facing the day, I just want to introduce one idiom here. Face the music. The only reason I'm
Yeah.
introducing this is because we said face the day. I'm guessing you must have heard of this idiom, face the music.
Yes. Yes.
What does it mean?
To face the consequences or to face our seniors' rebukes and reprimands.
There we are. So, if in case you're late and you're perpetually late, okay, and it's probably not happened to you, but it's always nice again to just bring, a sense of humor to the conversation. So you can say that, once I reach school, I prepare to face the music.
Yes, I'm always like that.
So I prepare to face the music, or I brace myself. I prefer this one better. I brace myself to face the music from the principal
Hmm.
for being the last person to enter the campus.
Hmm.
So once I reach school, I brace myself. So to brace myself means to prepare myself.
Hmm.
I prepare myself to face the music from the principal for being the last person to enter the campus.
Yes,
How is it?
very nice.
Is this what you were looking for?
Yes.
Oh. So the only thing I had to tell you, like I said, was because you kept repeating the word rushing. So that was the one thing. Your repetition, Pramila, it needs to be reduced. And you see,
Okay.
the thing is, when I tell you that this particular idiom, there is an idiom like this, or there is a phrasal verb like this, you're like, yeah, I know. So you know these, but the point is you're not implementing them in your conversations. You're finding it
Hmm.
difficult. Again, that comes with practice. Ideally, it comes with practice. But what you can do is, use this as a format in order to be able to explain yourself or explain your mornings. I hope I've
Okay.
summarized your morning perfectly. It
Yes.
always helps, I suppose. I know
Can
I'm
we?
listening. Yeah.
Can we end that conversation with some line, or is it okay to finish like this?
Okay, so once I reach school, I brace myself to face the music from the principal for being the last person to enter the campus. And then what you can say is, after attending the assembly, I proceed to face the day.
After
So you say, after attending the assembly, I proceed to face the day.
to face,
To
FACE, face. Okay.
be you. Or if you want to be able to end it in a better fashion, what you can say is, I am surprised, or you can say surprisingly, the chaos of the morning, surprisingly, the chaos of the morning is forgotten once I see my students.
Oh yes.
Once I see my students, as I prepare myself to be immersed in their world.